My intention for being in Las Vegas, honestly, is to elevate the frequency of the entire city. And with this show, the entire planet. And I think a lot of people who hear something like that, they'll watch something like this and think, oh, that's so like high level, ridiculous kind of thing. And I know there's some people thinking that. And honestly, how are we ever going to do it unless we set the intention to do it? Like, I want to elevate the frequency of the city by us being here, even if that means that just the people we talk to or come in contact with, we leave them feeling more love in their system. That ripples out, that carries out, which means that we did elevate the frequency of this planet. And yeah, so I hope more people start setting that intention everywhere they go. In this video today, we are going to be talking about male friendships. It is one of the most common messages that I get, which is from men saying that they don't feel like they have a tribe of other men that they can lean into. And I feel so blessed because I have so many of them. I have so many friends that I feel like I can be vulnerable with and be real with, and I'm traveling with them, with Hunter and Matt and Ryan. And how did we create those sorts of friendships? That's what we're going to dive into this video, and that's why I'm wearing this poncho in Sedona, Arizona, because it feels manly. So let's talk men, because we went to Las Vegas, Nevada, where I thought the trip was going to be all about women. It was a test to see if we would get entrained into the frequency of Sin City. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We can't go out to a club. You can't get drunk for the first time in 6 years, which is what happened, by the way. In another episode, you'll see that. And not fall into the old patterns of drunken, sloppy makeout sex or something. And the truth is that it wasn't about women at all. It wound up being a trip about men. It wound up being about how we showed up for each other along the way. And it starts always with play. Well, I have to for the shot, so Ryan, this must be your worst nightmare right now.
What is that?
It's a jaw harp. Tibetan jaw harp.
Oh yeah.
It's an
This
instrument.
one's not Tibetan.
Peter Fran.
This is
Peter Fran.
Is this us?
yeah, this is us.
I love that energy. Later, guys.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. We have to do that more. We have to do that more. Just create just absolutely obscene experiences where people are just gonna be like, "What is that?" Bro,
That's a
you know what I
good
mean?
idea.
I'm not kidding. Like, let's just go and actually make a list right now.
A kalimba? Can you imagine people just like riding the elevator for a while playing the kalimba?
It is my intention.
Jaw harp and kalimba?
It is my intention to
Just
do
walk around
3
and
to
flute,
5
and
energy
flute.
healings a day.
That
You
sounds
want to
pretty
do
cool.
3 to 5 energy healings a day with the jaw
What if you
harp?
did it with a stripper?
Jaw harp, energy work, like
What if you did it with a stripper?
whatever it looks like.
You take 20 minutes.
That's my
You
intention.
get one song,
3 to 5.
3-minute energy session with the stripper.
3 to 5. Seriously though, 3 to 5, like drop-in energy session clearing per day.
I'll sign up for one.
Why don't you do your idea, which was buy a lap dance and have a coaching session, but you can bring your jaw harp and just buy a lap dance and go in the back and just start playing it while she's doing
Is
the
the
lap
show
dance?
paying for the lap dance?
No, it was your idea.
Then I'm good saving my money and just finding someone who I don't have to pay.
I love how when it's your money, you don't want to spend it, but when it's the show's money, it's a great idea.
Bro, it's for the show.
Sounds like it's for you.
No, I'm doing it for spirit.
You're doing it for you.
That's your shit. First letter's Y. 62997. Seven. Okay, thank you.
And play is just the first step. Play is something that a lot of men know how to do together. We play football together and soccer, and we watch sporting events together. We play drinking games together, which I did a lot of when I was in college. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to all my friends who were a part of that chapter. And now, the foundation of all my deep male friendships is the willingness to hold each other in excellence. The willingness to have those uncomfortable, difficult conversations where you say, hey, I see something that is not in alignment with who you say you want to be in the world, and I'm going to call you out on it. Can you sit in that discomfort? Can you be willing to have the conversations that so few are actually having on this planet in order to pull your brothers forward? And this is what that looks like.
You in no way have any obligation to the show for what you share outside of what you feel comfortable sharing. With that said, from a purely like your friend coaching perspective, I'm finding it really interesting that you're calling something into your experience and yet have reservations around speaking publicly about what you're calling into your experience.
I think part of it is knowing that my relationship with Lily right now, where we're not discussing the engagements that we're having because we don't want to know them, it's too triggering. Knowing that this space of us not communicating and us not being in each other's lives is giving the spaciousness for us to have whatever type of friendship or co-creation relationship that we would have in the future. That as the content is coming out, knowing that she's going to be watching it, that's not something that I want to put on her. Like, that's not something that I want her to receive through this channel. I'm not hiding it in any way. If we get back together and we have a conversation about who we were with and what our experience was, yeah, here's exactly what my journey was. But until I choose to tell her that.
So the whole thing, it's not even about like the public. It's literally just seeing the content.
Like there's an aspect of sharing about my right now that I feel that I would be received with judgment. That's why.
My question for you is, do you have judgments about yourself with it? Like, do you judge yourself for it? Like, are you proud of it?
I don't judge myself for it. And because of the depth of connection that I have, like there's, regardless of who she will ever be in my life, even if she's someone that will never show up in my life, I still want to take her into consideration as somebody who I love dearly and just want the best for. And if there's any way that I can make her life better by actions or being, it's no different than me wanting to change anybody else's life through energy work or like it's just but such a deep connection that I want to do what I can to allow her to be in her process as well.
Do you remember what it was? So you're saying that you have no judgment of yourself in this situation, but you're saying you're projecting judgment onto me. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what it was that when I had the like stern, like no more with you around me, do you remember what it was that I was actually like stopping you from? Like that wasn't working for me anymore?
Holding the energetic?
No. And that's where if you're feeling judgment about you holding the energetic, there's a misread of what I was communicating at Burning Man, because I expect you to be holding the energetic to some extent. Like it's an untethering process, right? Like slowly but surely we untether from this thing that has been a part of us for so long. And as that happens, we release the holding of the energetic. Mm-hmm. It's not an immediate thing. How many months out am I like waking up and crying in my morning meditation? Like, I get it. What I was calling out was you continuously for like 3 days at that point were telling all of us how good you were with connecting with other people. You kept saying like, no, I want her to have her burn, and like she's connecting with some lovely brothers, and like all that bullshit that you're saying it and everyone can feel that it's not your truth. And when you may want that to be your truth, but it's not your emotional truth, it's not your energetic truth. And when you're speaking to me about it over and over and over, probably more than anyone else there over time, and I feel you like trying to like trick yourself and ignore what's actually so obvious to me about how you're feeling, about how it hurts your heart to see her connecting with someone else, and how that shit is not cool in your system. No matter how many times you're going to say it's cool, like I get it, like that's there's a disconnect there. You're working on being cool with it, and you're doing an admirable job, and you are fucking holding such a firm stance of love. And because you're not being honest about it, my perception of what's happening is it's creating a really, really like powerful energetic that's pulling you out of your masculinity, of you being able to stand and say, this is what I want, this is who I am, and that's worthy of being a fucking king. And so you're doing things that I'm sorry, like as your brother, it's like, yo, Brad spoke to it, Preston spoke to it. We are not going to not speak to you as if you are a king. And so for me, the reason I had that talk with you was because you were continuing to hold this disconnect, misalignment in your system of what you wanted and where you were actually at. And that was pulling you out of how you would behave in your king self. And that's what I'm not the space for. That's why I cut you there. You still holding in your field, I will always be a space for that as long as you need that to be held. I'm not here to tell you not to be in love. But I'm here to make sure that you honor yourself and that you're honest with yourself. I'm a stand for you for that.
That makes so much more sense.
I love you, dude, and I love how much you love. You are one of the most loving people that I know. And from where you've been and the affairs and who you were and all of that to where you are is like that gets to shine for people to see that it's possible. And so the more of you share, that you choose to share, that you feel comfortable sharing because you know that's your truth and your truth is awesome, great. This gets to be a platform for all of that because all of us, I am so proud of who we are as human beings. And that's why if you say that you don't want to share it because of I respect that as long as it's coming from a place of king self of saying, no, this is my commitment to her and I'm going to honor that, as opposed to a fear-based decision that time's done. It's time's done.
Yeah. I entirely feel that. I released it the day we got back from Burning Man. I felt that. I didn't recognize the energetic I held then. But I do now, which is great because I don't feel it.
Cool.
Now I feel more in my power than ever before.
And so you're willing to have the uncomfortable conversations. You're willing to risk your friend being upset with you in order to take a stand for both of you. And it goes beyond just talking about it. It goes into, can you show up physically for each other? Because there's so much taboo about what it means to be a man and be intimate physically, like have affection with another man. Growing up, I can't recall the number of times that I was told it was gay to touch another man. Don't hug me, bro, like that's gay. What? Think of that stores in our body, that stores in our system, and it's creating this fear, this disconnection between men and the ability to show up for each other in a physical way. Because sometimes all that means is a hand on your leg. Sometimes all that means is a shoulder to cry on, a hand on the back, or a hug. That's it. Or maybe it's a cuddle. Maybe it's a drunken cuddle that just shows up and you don't even know it happened, but somehow you know it healed your soul.
I witnessed the most adorable thing last night when I came in, and the two of you were on the bed. Ryan, you were fully clothed on top of the sheets, just lying like face down, like you fell on top of it. You were like in your boxers underneath. And Ryan, you said something, I don't know what it was. It was really quiet. And you're like, yeah, you know, if like mumbled. And Adam, you were like, okay, yeah, that's okay, I'll cuddle. And you sat up and you rolled over and you put your head on his back and you wrapped your arm around him and like tucked it under him and you fell asleep on top of him. And I stood there and watched him and I'm like, are they no, he's just fully cuddling. And you just fully embraced him for a minute. I went to the bathroom, I came back out, you're still holding him, and I'm like, I should document this. And as soon as I went to grab my camera, you like mumbled something and curled over and rolled into a ball in the other way.
It's amazing.
It was the most adorable, because like you said something and Adam heard it as an invitation for cuddles and he's like, yeah, okay, cuddles.
I wish that you had caught it on camera.
I know, me too.
This is the second time I've been told with no actual like evidence, but just told, yeah, cuddles. Cuddles happened.
These are the ways that we get to show up for each other and break down the taboos and the old stories, the old paradigm of what it means to be a man, so that we can show up and feel supported by our brothers. And once you have that, once you have the ability to play together, once you have the ability to speak your truth and hold each other accountable, and you're willing to be there as physical supports for each other, now you step into what I think is one of the most intimate things that you can do, which is create art together. Allow your creativity to flow, because I believe that creativity is the purest expression of your soul, which means that if you are creating art with someone else, you are bearing your soul to them. And that means if they don't like the art, if my friend says, yeah, that's lame, that's like my soul that he just said that about. And so it's very vulnerable, and it's so intimate, and that foundation of friendship is so powerful, because what it does then is allow you to lean into each other and create something that is so far beyond what you could have created on your own, which is what happened with this show, which is what has happened for the last several months for Ryan and I as we said yes to this journey. And in Vegas, the night after a bender, we wake up and we release The Art of Choosing Love after months and months of work, and we celebrate with each other.
Been working so hard for this moment to launch the project officially, to open up the toroidal return, the floodgates, and may this just go out and touch so many people. May it activate all those who experience it, and may they feel all the things that we intended them to feel when we created it.
May it do for them what it's done for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And may what it does for them ripple back into us and amplify what we're doing more and more and more.
I'm thinking about just the very beginning, like from the very beginning, and just all the late nights, like, dude, I don't know what we're doing, I have no idea, and the number of hours of meditation, and like, I'm doing everything you're telling me to do, it's not working. to get to this moment and to look at this and just feel so, even today as we're editing, like one shot is off color, one little addition of a marker sound, and just saying we are committed to making it as good as we possibly can and trusting that that's enough. And I'm just so thankful for you, and thankful for you, Matt and Hunter, and yeah, let's do it. Let's do this.
Let's go live.
We're going live. Let's do it live. Done.
And so it seems simple, but really what it takes is being willing to be in the discomfort. At the end of the day, creating strong male friendships is being willing to move through the discomfort of what we were told it means to be a man. Be willing to play together and let yourself be silly. Be willing to hold each other accountable through difficult conversations so that we can all be at our highest vibrational state. And to touch each other physically and say, I got you. And lastly, to create together. To allow our souls to be bared, for our creativity to be expressed, and to elevate the planet through a bond that can be created when we allow ourselves to be seen at that level. When we allow ourselves to move through the discomfort to create these powerful male friendships. This is what men want on this planet. This is what women want for men on this planet. So women, if you're watching this and you have some men in your life that you would love to see create a strong tribe, share this with them. Let them know what you've learned about this. Because here's the thing, if you tell them to do it, they might do it. We love pleasing women. And it's medicine for us. Deep down at the end of the day, I used to be so scared of male friendships. I used to be so scared of connecting with other men. And there is nothing I can think of in my life right now that fills up my cup more than my friendships with the men in my life. This is possible for you. This is possible for this planet. And it starts by living in love, using love as a compass, choosing love in each and every moment, and reminding everyone that you come in contact with that you are seen, you are heard, and you are loved. Thank you so much for watching this and taking the time out of your day to commit to the art of choosing love. And it is my hope that by showing you my heart, showing you the vulnerable, authentic, real sides of what I'm going through in my life, it will inspire you to share more of your heart and your authenticity and your unique voice with the world. And we want this to be a growing tribe, and in order for that to happen, we want you. So please subscribe, share this with your loved ones, engage in the comments with others who are on the same journey as you of using love as the compass. You are always, in all ways, seen, heard, and loved.